First-time homebuyers, listen up. I have a strategy that's going to help you beat this housing affordability crisis. Investors are going to hate me for telling you this. Hello everyone, I'm Jen, your Delaware Realtor. We talk a lot about the housing affordability crisis on this channel, and it's not something that I see getting better anytime soon. But today, I want to share with you something that I think is the ticket for many into this housing market. I had coffee with a mortgage lender the other day, Holly, and we were discussing different loan programs. And a renovation loan came up in conversation. And while I've heard of a renovation loan, it never occurred to me that you could use a renovation loan to purchase a home and have your renovation costs built in. Holly said, if I was a first-time home buyer right now, I would be taking full advantage of this program. A light bulb went off for me. I said, this is it. This is the ticket into the housing market for many first-time home buyers. The average home price in Delaware right now is $400,000 plus. And with mortgage rates being in the sixes, that monthly mortgage payment is unattainable for many first-time home buyers. I recently did a search for a client and their budget is $260,000. I put just that in and there were only 6 properties available in the whole state of Delaware. So as you can see, first-time homebuyers are legitimately discouraged in finding affordable housing. So I've been racking my brain on how I could help my clients and others with these budgets on how they could afford a home. So when Holly said that this would be her strategy in this housing market, I couldn't wait to share this with my clients and you, my wonderful YouTube audience. These renovation loans come in a variety of different programs. The best part is that they're available in conventional with 3% down, FHA financing, and VA financing, which means that you could have a 3% down payment, you could have a 3.5% down payment, or if you're a veteran, you could have a 0% down payment. Let me explain. There's an FHA 203K standard loan and an FHA 203K limited loan. So let's say that you have a max pre-approval of $350,000, but everything in your budget needs work or it doesn't work for what you need it for. So let's say that you find a house at $300,000, but it needs new flooring, the kitchen cabinets need to be replaced, and maybe the AC is broken. You could finance with an FHA 203K loan, in which case you wouldn't need the funds up front for the renovations. So what you would do is you would purchase the home for $300,000 and you would have roughly $30,000 to $40,000 for the renovations. You would stay under that max pre-approval of $350,000. But there's pros and cons to every loan, so let me just go through some of them. You will need a minimum credit score of 620, and it has to be owner-occupied, which means you can't use it as a rental property. But you can purchase a multi-unit property, 1 through 4 units, and it has to be built at least 1 year. So in my example, you probably were questioning my numbers because I said you purchased the house at $300,000 and you had roughly $30,000 to $40,000 to use for the renovation. And you're saying to yourself, well, Jen, that doesn't add up to $350,000. And it's because 10 to 20% has to go into a reserve account. And what that means is that if renovation costs were to go over the initial budget, that is where those extra costs would come from. Now, if you do not use all of those funds, you can put that back onto the principal amount of your loan. So your next question you're probably thinking is, can I do the renovations myself? And the answer is no. You do need a licensed contractor in your jurisdiction that carries $1 million in liability insurance, and the lender will check the credentials of the contractor prior to closing. There are a few pros to using the FHA 203K loan, some being that it requires 3.5% down, which is essentially really low for a renovation loan. Also, if you already own a home and you're looking to do renovations, you can use this to refinance and then finance the renovation costs. You can use this to improve the energy efficiency, and there are no prepayment penalties. There are some cons to using this program, such as you are required to have FHA mortgage insurance premiums, and this is something that you cannot get rid of unless you refinance the loan. Once the renovations are completed, you must meet FHA standard minimum requirements for the property. Also, you are required to have an FHA consultant. And sometimes the renovation costs may be more than what you're pre-approved for. So sometimes this may not always work depending on what type of condition the property is in. This isn't necessarily going to solve every problem for every person, but it does open up a lot of opportunity for a lot of people. The standard FHA loan requires that the home be in really good condition, meaning there's no safety concerns. And for a lot of homes out there, they don't meet the FHA standard requirements. So it takes an already limited amount of inventory and makes it even smaller. And then the homes that do pass FHA standards have a ton of interest and you're up against multiple offers. So the advantage of you looking at less desirable homes makes it easier for you to get that home. If you are a veteran, there is a similar loan called VA Express Loans. And the best part is that it's 0 down payment. This is huge. So just like the other loans, there are pros and cons to this one as well. So let's talk about some of them. So some pros to using this loan, obviously number one being 0 down payment. It has competitive interest rates. You do need a minimum credit score of 620. There is no private mortgage insurance required, which is also great. And there are no prepayment penalties. Some cons of this loan is that it does need to be your primary residence, which I guess could be a pro or a con. I mean, you can't use it for a rental, basically. There may be a VA funding fee that may apply, which sometimes can be a little bit more expensive. And there also are certain limitations on the types of home renovations that you can do. But all in all, I think it is a great option for veterans. So there are some questions that you may have, and let's go over that. So probably the number one question you're thinking is, where am I going to live while these renovations are happening? Well, if the home does meet certain requirements, you may be allowed to stay in the home while the renovations are happening. Now, if there is a hole in the roof or a hole in the floor or certain different safety concerns, the appraiser may say, hey, this is not inhibitable and you will actually need to live somewhere else while the home is being renovated. The next question you may have is, do I need to make my full mortgage payment before the home is renovated? And the answer is yes. As soon as you close on the home, you will have that 1 month gap and you will then need to start making your full monthly mortgage payment. Now, I realize that this sometimes isn't the easiest situation because if you are renting somewhere, if you can't stay in the home, you would be paying a rent and also a mortgage at the same time. So obviously it's not ideal for some situations, but at the same time, you don't have to have those renovation costs up front, which I guess it's good and bad, right? Maybe you can stay with a family member or a friend. I truly think that taking advantage of this program may be the ticket for many buyers into this housing market. It gives you an advantage to look at homes that people don't have a lot of interest in, and then you won't have a lot of competition. If you need more information or you have questions, I'm going to put my information right here. Feel free to reach out to me. Also, I'm going to put Holly's information down below in the description. There's also a downloadable PDF so that you can get more information on each of these programs, and it's in a nice chart so you can see everything. I really hope that this video helps. If it did, be sure to give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you on the next one. Hey, are you thinking about moving to Delaware? Check out this video right here. And if you would love to tour Delaware new construction homes with me, check out this playlist right here. And don't forget, subscribe to my channel.